Alright, what's going on, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy, the ACMJS Gamer here. Uh, I wanted to go through and address certain rumors and things um, that are known for Assassin's Creed Ragnarok. As of this year, we already have two big major leaks. One being from the Italy GameStop, where they released the leak for a game for Assassin's Creed Ragnarok Mjolnir Edition. And then just the other day, I believe this was yesterday or the day before, they released another leak for Amazon Germany with a Assassin's Creed Ragnarok Valhalla Edition. So we know this game exists. We have two editions. There are some unknowns that we're not sure about. If you've been following me and my channel for a while, you guys know that there's only one game director that I really like, and that's Ashraf. He was the game director for Assassin's Creed 4, Black Flag, and Assassin's Creed Origins. And whether or not you liked the combat in Origins, the story was still pretty solid, along with Black Flag. Usually Ash's games are enjoyable. The script isn't too bad. The combat's fun. Gameplay's good. And it's just the little... A lot of people are Ash fans now because, like Odyssey, a lot of people didn't like, but they liked Origins. And I think some things, just have to add up for people to like certain games. With Assassin's Creed, it's always going to be iffy because you have the hardcore fans who love the original series, and then you have the people or the kids who are just now getting into Assassin's Creed, and they're like, oh, I really love Odyssey, but they haven't played the original games, 1, 2, Brotherhood, Revelations, and so on. So I kind of wanted to go through this rumor. Oh, that's not what I wanted. That's not what I wanted either. Rumor Major Assassin's Creed Ragnarok gameplay details leak. It says up here that basically this is from 4chan, and we may not necessarily be able to trust it, but some credible games have been leaked through 4chan, so we don't know. Apparently there's supposed to be some sort of announcement in February about this. Again, an unknown is we don't know who the game director or studio is. If you don't know, if you're just tuning in, Ubisoft has multiple studios all across the globe. I forget the name of the studio that did Odyssey, but a lot of people didn't like that studio, and the one that Ash is associated with usually does all of like the best AC games in a lot of people's opinions. So with that being said, let's get right into the leak. Blah blah blah. Apparently Ragnarok will be cross-gen, looking to release on PS4, PS5, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X. So basically means that it's assumed or rumored that it will come out this year, considering we'll be in the next gen phase next year in 2021. Will reportedly launch on September 29th of this year. I don't think that's true. Anybody knows, if you get an Assassin's Creed game, it'll be more than likely in the winter. And that's typically October, November, or December, and usually Assassin's Creed games fall around October 25th, somewhere around there. But other than that, I don't really have a problem with the rest of this leak so far, so let's keep moving on. With the 4-player co-op feature that has been compared to Ghost Recon Wildlands, that'll be interesting that your buddies can just kind of hop in whenever. However, this doesn't state that if you're in single player mode that you'll have 3 companions, kind of like Ghost Recon Wildlands, where you have mates that are with you. So that'll be interesting to see how the combat works with multiple NPCs. If they do multiple NPCs, it may just be, hey, it's co-op, or if you don't like co-op, you just play by yourself with no NPCs. We don't know. That'd be good to know. like Assassin's Creed Odyssey, which I don't like that phrase at all. Players have the choice between a male or female character. I don't like this only in regards of if you look at the script for Odyssey, they avoid using pronouns so that they wouldn't have to write two scripts between using he and she. And to me, that is just completely lazy. So I don't necessarily like that for the script's sake, but it is what it is. Apparently, this person, whether they're male or female, will be named Jorah. Co-op players take on a role of Jorah's companions in co-op. So apparently this is only in co-op, I'm assuming. So that means in single player we wouldn't have any companions, which, is interesting. Supposedly have an increased focus on RPG mechanics, though this time around things will be more class-based. Interesting. A weapon upgrade system will be in place in addition to weapon durability. So this is taking on... well, no, I wasn't going to say The Witcher because The Witcher isn't class-based, but the weapon durability is interesting. This time around things will be more class-based. We don't know exactly what that means. Class-based. Because this is supposed to be the Viking era in the Vikings. So I wonder if it's talking kind of like Assassin's Creed Unity, where they have the different weapons. Like you have swords, pikes. Vikings would have axes, maybe tall axes. Who knows? We don't know. That would be interesting to find out. Weapon upgrade system will be in place. Weapon durability, that'll be interesting. The hidden blade is said to be making its return, as always. I'm very interested to see making its return. I'm very interested to see how they decide to fit this into their theory, because or not their theory, but how they decide to fit the hidden blade into their own lore, because it seems like every time they decide to put in... Sorry, I was looking at my list. Every time they decide to put in a new game, it seems like they're rewriting the canon for who the first person was, which they did, because the first person, if you go back to Assassin's Creed 2, to use the hidden blade, was Darius against the Persian king Xerxes. But they completely changed that in the Odyssey DLC, which I don't agree with, but whatever. Said to be making its return, but will have more customization options this time around. That would be interesting to see how you can customize it. I wonder if you can change like blade length or color or whatever, we don't know. Along with its own upgrades. So again, kind of like Unity, where you can upgrade stuff. Combat will focus on parrying, and difficulty will come from timing parries correctly, as opposed to giving enemies a lot of health. So this part gives me the feeling of Assassin's Creed 2 or Assassin's Creed 3. Basically any of the games where you can't one-hit kill with a parry, I'm assuming that's what they're talking about, will come from timing parries correctly as opposed to giving enemies a lot of health. I'm assuming that's what it is, where with Assassin's Creed 2 you can't just keep attacking them, or you can just keep attacking them and they keep blocking, but you eventually have to wait for them and you have to time it right. So that will be interesting. I would love to see the gameplay, because so far I'm liking what I'm hearing, except for the female-male customization. I'm liking what I'm hearing so far. However, I would need to see it in action. If there's an idea on paper, it's always better if you see it in action, and hopefully we'll get that in February. Players will also have a Berserker mode at their disposal that allows them to activate magical powers, with examples given including fire, frost, and lightning damage. So this kind of seems just like a rage mode to me, where you're kind of invincible for a few seconds and you can do different damage. Lightning damage, fire, and frost. Interesting, more like an RPG. Will reportedly bring back sailing mechanics that have been in the series in some capacity since AC3, but with a higher focus on exploration as opposed to combat. Exploration will involve some new parkour mechanics. Cool. I have no problem with that. I'm actually currently playing through Assassin's Creed Rogue. I really love the whole sailing mechanic. Um, I didn't care for it as much in Odyssey because the combat. um, so let's continue. Other standard AC mechanics will be getting an upgrade as well, according to the leak, with players now having physical stealth skills like hiding in mud and snow. Oh, so they're basically taking Ghost Recon Wildlands, or not Wildlands, Breakpoint, and adding it in. This is kind of like Ubisoft, where they take they've seen that a lot of players like one mechanic, and then they'll implement it into every other game that they put out there. Um, but that is a good thing. I think it should have been included in. Well, no, not Assassin's Creed. It's good that they included it in Breakpoint first. I just don't want to see this specific mechanic in every Ubisoft game. Knowing them, they'll probably put it in the next Far Cry. Players will once again be able to hide in crowds, but only if they are wearing the appropriate attire. Makes sense. Player reputation will also vary based on what town they're in, and the things done during quests can sway the public. I like that. Oh, my bad, can sway public opinion. Still like that. Reaching a certain level of reputation with a particular region will be required for Assassin's Creed Ragnarok players to unlock certain quests. So this is the part that we get into that I don't really care for, where it's the game is limiting what you can do and where you can go based on the progress that you've made. But that's just about any game in general. Basically, they're saying you have to create, or you have to go and do certain quests, or do certain things in a region to unlock certain quests. What I potentially don't like about this is that if they have it kind of like Odyssey, where you go to a certain area and there's a fort and you have to go and clear out the fort, and in order to clear out the fort you have to go in and you have to clear the chests, you have to kill the captains, you have to do this, you have to do that. If that's what we're going for, that's just repetition. More than likely you're going to have to go to each and every singular region and do that, or do a certain number of things, and it's the same thing over and over and over again just to progress further in the story. I don't like that idea, but if it's Ash, hopefully the activities that you do in each region will change. Like for example, in Assassin's Creed Rogue, if you go to if you're sailing to an area and there's a settlement there, it's either you need to disrupt the French poison gas, so you have to destroy it, and you have to kill the captain, and some of his snipers, or it's you have to cut down like their flag and destroy their plans, which is really cool. But we will have to see on that one. I do like this artwork. I don't know if that's actual artwork from them. It's probably just a picture game rant pulled off the internet. But moving on, the leak goes on to say the conquest battles are back. The only reason I had a problem with conquest battles to begin with was the combat. So if the combat looks good and the gameplay looks solid, I will have no problem with this. Players can also find battles between warring kingdoms happening dynamically throughout the game world. I like that. Even though you're not there, things are still happening around you. Settlements in the world can be captured in exchange for various rewards, and players will also be able to organize large-scale raids of places like forts and cities. So I'm assuming in order to gain like popular opinion, and in order to do certain, well, in order to gain popular opinion, I'm assuming you have to do certain things within a region or within a district. So within the region, you have to go and like take care of the fort. You have to get rid of, like free prisoners, or just do stuff in general to get the people on your side specifically. And then I'm assuming once you have their support, if let's say in a region, let's just say for example, make the math easy. Let's say in a region there's 4 districts or 5 districts. Out of those 5 districts, you get 4 on your side. I wonder if you could get it to the point where you have the 4th district, or you have 4 out of the 5 districts go and raid the 5th district, and you kind of own the whole region. That would be interesting. Um, but it says large scale raids of places like forts and cities. So I'm assuming there's like different districts that surround the city, and those districts make up a region. Um, that would be kind of interesting to take forts and cities. Uh, that would be very interesting. I do like the idea. Again, it all depends on the combat and the gameplay. If the combat is really solid, it looks good, then I'm all for it. This idea is very interesting. Moving on, leveling up in Assassin's Creed Ragnarok has been compared to Skyrim. Interesting. So it's with players earning XP by improving certain skills. So I guess the more you use a skill, the more you um, level up. Something that really bothered me in Odyssey was that you didn't have free range of the bow and arrow. You had a skill you had to equip, um, and you just used that skill. You couldn't really free aim the bow like you could in Origins. So there's that. But I like the idea of using the skill, because what's the point in earning a skill if you're not going to use it? Like in Odyssey, where you could potentially be like, oh, this skill looks good, and then not like it, and it's like, well, I'm stuck with it. With this, you can earn XP by using the certain skills. Special abilities will be unlocked by improving skills enough. Though these are skill points in the game, some skills will also be locked behind story progression. Um, so kind of, I'm getting kind of a Origins feel here, um, where you can do your own stuff, but also somewhere locked behind the story. And this is the last bit of the article, as you can see down here. While players are out leveling up their character, they will have a massive map to explore that will encompass all of Northern Europe. Specific cities mentioned by the leaker source include York, London, Paris, and Kiev. Interesting. So the question is, can any of this info be trusted? We don't know. Um, Game would be received alongside the PS. Oh, revealed alongside the PS5 during the rumored PS5 event in February. Interesting. So I did not know that. I did not know that PlayStation was even doing a reveal event in February. We will see about that. So, thank you guys for watching. This was a little bit over what I wanted to do, but I wanted to kind of cover this because it's a little early for certain gameplay leaks to be coming out. Usually the leaks don't start until around March, and those leaks are for E3, which isn't until June, July-ish. So we will see. The first big game of the year that we have coming up will be Cyberpunk, April 16th. So while that's going on, I do also have a podcast called the Games and Things Podcast. We just wrapped up the beginning of this year with the end of last year with everything Star Wars, related to Rise of Skywalker, the Clone Wars, Rebels, The Mandalorian, all that good stuff. The first big gaming project I'm going to do of this year is going to be Assassin's Creed 3, because I don't have it on my channel. Even though I hate it with a passion, I figured with it being remastered, I should play through it. I will get to that as soon as I'm done playing through Rogue. So hopefully AC3 will hold my channel over until we get up through April, possibly. But thank you guys. Leave your likes down below. Add a comment. I want to see what your guys' theories are, I want to see what your guys' theory are for what's going to happen in the next game. What do you like? What don't you like? Overall, as a general, I do like this type of leak, compared to what I've seen before. Um, like I said, it all depends on the gameplay or the gameplay slash the combat, because this as a concept is very solid. But again, for me, if it doesn't work or it doesn't look right, then there's no point in playing a whole game. So thank you guys, and I'll see you guys in the next video, hopefully. See ya.